Look, we've started, Kenny, pretty much. We've started this podcast.
This is
Phil-
more good luck than good management.
Phil, listen, you're not a normal human being, right? Let's talk about this first. 2 world records.
Yep.
Tell the people that don't know who you are. I was talking to Richie Vass. He goes, "Fuck yeah, I know Phil," but tell the people who you are, and a couple of the big achievements, because I really want to get into this. And then we're going to talk about what we were just talking about just then, about Sharky, how he helps the homeless people at Lexington Place. I'm going to try and come there today after 4 o'clock, because I think people need to hear from people like us to go to that next level and not question themselves anymore, but take that risk, take that plunge. What's the worst that can happen? You fail and you come back. But tell the viewers who you are and what you've done to this point, just those 2 world records, because I'm going to go into deep. I want to go into the mindset of all that as well.
Okay, well, a bit hard talking about yourself, so you might want to steer this. Phillip McDonald, born and bred in Parramatta. All my dad's family were born and bred in Redfern, going back to great-great-grandparents. So I'm, as a rugby league follower, I'm a bit torn between Parramatta and South. So I have when they're both playing, I have an each way bet. But schooled at Morris Brothers at Parramatta. Grew up there. Learned how to box at 11 at Parramatta PCYC. My dad doubled with a bit of boxing promotion, and I was in awe of the fighters back in those days, and the great Wally Carr, Josh Addo-Carr's grandfather. A lot of people wouldn't know that Wally held in the Guinness Book of Records the most number of titles ever held by any boxer in the world, and across an astonishing 8 weight divisions.
Wow.
That is mental. Wally was a huge...
That's Josh Addo-Carr's grandfather.
Josh Addo-Carr's granddad, yeah. Wally was with me the night my daughter was born. That's 37 years ago now.
Wow.
We're at Parramatta Leagues Club with my dad, and I don't know, how we come to being there. As I said, that's 37 years ago. I can hardly remember yesterday, let alone 37 years ago. But he was a huge source of inspiration. He had this charm, he had this swagger, he had this character about himself, the way he carried himself, the ultimate level of self-belief and confidence. And in this modern day now, and God bless Wally, he's no longer with us, rest in peace, is Darragh Foley. Darragh Foley, great welterweight. And I had the opportunity to meet Darragh and train with him at Bondi Boxing Club, Tony Delvecchio's place in Allen Street, Waterloo.
Well, that's where I met you.
Yeah.
That's where
I was training your son.
Yeah. My daughter.
Yeah. Oh, your daughter.
I was bringing my daughter in. I was bringing my daughter in for the first time, sort of kind of where she got a passion, and then obviously she went over to Fidel, worked a bit with Fidel, who've done tremendous work with her. But I remember meeting you in there, and I remember you hadn't done these world records yet.
No.
At the time.
No, but
you weren't. This was previous to the world records.
Before then? Okay, right. Okay.
But I remember when you were telling me, I said, this guy's crazy. He's actually going to stay in the ring and punch the bag for 24 hours. That was your first one, right?
That was my first one, and I'd say that was my hardest.
We're going to go back and forth in this. But listen, let's get into that part, right? Mm-hmm. That was your hardest one. 24 hours, you got to stay awake.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Ian Schaefer in some of the videos. It was on Facebook Live, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe I was going back and forth watching the whole thing. And how important is it to have the right people around you going through something like that? 24 hours, hitting a bag, no sleep, you got to stay awake. What did you know it was going to be that hard? And how do you prepare for something like that?
Well, we'd trained previously, Sharky and I, at Bondi Boxing. We did,
and that's Ian Schaefer, by the way. Sharky's Ian Schaefer.
Oh, mate.
For those that don't know Sharky, Ian Schaefer, look him up. The guy has done unbelievable achievements in the ring, kickboxing, MMA,
world
one
champion.
of the first world champion in the world. Yeah. So Sharky, go ahead.
Yeah, so Gee, there's so many pieces that feed into this, Mets. Self-belief, getting confidence from others. The old, it's a bit cliche. You hang around, three confident blokes, you become the fourth confident bloke. And look, it really is that easy. Like I put up a post the other day about indomitable spirit, saying, it's hard to say, but it's easy to do, and it is. It's all about the people you surround yourself with. I'm so fortunate. Before we started this interview, I was talking about some of the people that I'm so fortunate to have around me, and to have become friends and close friends with the people that I mentioned is more good luck than good management. It really is. Because, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that these people, the calibre of these people were going to be my friends, I'd have laughed at your face. And so now it's a real, pinch myself type of thing when I think about how fortunate I am. And the other thing we spoke about, which feeds in to the answer I'm going to give you, and I've got to tell you something my dad always said to me. He said, be very careful asking me for a short answer to a question.
Well, your dad said that?
My dad said that,
about him as well, or you?
No, about me, because I'm known to sort of be able to talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles.
Don't worry, I know. I'm going to give you the red cards.
Yeah, I know. I've read the red card. Red card for you.
You know what's funny about that red card? Let me ask you a question. Everyone's going, fuck, Mets, can you get red cards? They look like orange. My mate bought them from me from Amazon. Yeah. Right? And I go, fuck, at least everyone's watching what colour the card is and commenting on it. Yeah. Because eventually they're going to get the message. Yep. Eventually they're going to get the message. Yep. They're not watching the message, they're watching the orange card. Yep. Anyway, you're not going to get a red card. But so meeting people like Ian Schaefer is good luck rather than good management, right? You're doing the 24 hours on the bag. At what point did you go, what the fuck am I doing here? And when did he whisper in your ear where you needed to go?
Yeah, well, we did a podcast a few years ago.
That's right.
And I remember answering the same question. Yeah. And it was at the 13th hour, because we'd only trained non-stop in the gym for 14 hours straight. Yeah. That was the longest we'd ever gone. And so I thought to myself, okay, that hurt, right? And I thought, okay, there's going to become a time where I'm going to get tested. And you can never prepare for that. It's like preparing, but being prepared for,
it's the unknown.
Yeah.
You're going to unknown territory.
Yeah. And this is when...
And in your late 50s.
Yeah. This is when you've got to start drawing on, all the things that you've been saying to other people, all the things that you've learnt. Am I, actually an example, or can I be, living proof of what I'm saying, or am I just full of shit, basically? Okay. And it's not until you have to walk in the dark that you find out who you are. And at that 13th hour, right, I collapsed and I couldn't speak, right? And it was a massive drop in blood sugar. And Bobby Antonakis, that we all know, he walked in at about, whenever that 13th hour was, at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning or something, and he just instantly recognised, he needs jelly beans. And I only bumped Bobby in Maroubra the other day, and we're talking about the exact same thing, about how often you should, be getting that sugar into you. So they got some of that in me. I came good, but at that moment, Shannon Taylor was there. He threw a chair under my bum so I didn't hit the floor, right? Oh, wow. And he said, keep punching, Phil, while they gave me a couple of jelly beans and massaged my legs, and, I stood back up and kept going. I battled from that 13th hour right through to 8 or 9 a.m. whatever it was,
Yeah.
the next morning. And as soon as I saw my family walk through the door, I just got this lift of energy. And as we're talking about before this interview started, I was talking about substance. And my substance comes from having a great family, having a wonderful wife. And when you've got that substance, that foundation in your life, it allows for clear focus. And if you don't have that ability to focus clearly, you have distractions.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've got distractions, you can't get into the lane you need to be, that lane of focus, to get you through to the other side. And so that substance that I had around me from the 13th hour right through to the 24th hour, and achieved what I look back on and think, how did I do that? Was that me?
In life, I think you got to do things that are outside yourself in order to have a purpose or find a purpose, because that's what gives you the ability to have the confidence. And I feel like, but when you do anything, you have to face the fear of failing at a point to wake yourself up and go, what the fuck's going on here? I gotta make a go of this. My question to you is, like, you could do anything else. Why would you do that 24 hours? Not to take anything away from it, because I think people have to do crazy things for people to have the belief that they can do anything. But why would you do it? Why did you do it?
Oh, look, I've always been a physical sort of guy. I'm a builder by profession. And I've always been around sport my whole life. I started playing rugby union, under 8s with Northmead in the Parramatta Junior rugby union competition. And then at Maris Brothers, it was rugby league, athletics. And then when I got graded with Parramatta Rugby Union, I think it was 79, somewhere around there. It's dominated my whole life, and the people that I've been around, it's just been sport, and so it's. I think why that I think it's something to do with familiarity, Mets, and the fact that I've got this love affair with boxing and the Australian boxing community. It's fantastic. I go to the veteran boxers lunches. They're a great bunch of characters there. They relive the old days. They're such a remarkable, bunch of people. So for me, it was just sort of like normal, I guess, to do something that incorporated boxing, as in, 24-hour world record attempt on the bag, and then my second one, sparring 150 rounds. So I think it's the support that
From the community?
Yeah, from the boxing community, yeah.
So does that community give you the sense of purpose? Like, we all want to belong to something, right? And we all, I think every human wants to do something that people can recognise. And I think when we feel like we can add value, we feel more valued. Do you feel like going through this, you go, okay, I'm going to do this, and it's going to give people the ignition to do something outside of their comfort zone? And, and when we feel like we can give value, like, say, Sharky does with the street food, and he feels like he's given value, you feel more valued, and then you got more purpose. Was that something that you feel like this is like giving back? Is this like a give back to your community, to your people, to show that you could become and do anything that you set your mind to?
Look, I'm really big on being an example of the saying, be the change you want to see in your own community. And so my dad was my greatest mentor because he led by example, for his whole 82 years. And for me, I think you've got to be living proof of what you speak about, otherwise you're just full of shit. Now, some of the achievements I go after, I've got to tell you, I scare myself. I get caught up in the moment with adrenaline and enthusiasm. Oh yeah, I can do this. And after that sort of wears away a little bit and you've got to do the hard work, I think to myself, what did I say that for? Why did I commit to this? And so to fairly answer your question, I think I want to see a change in young people. I think that the younger generation at the moment, we're seeing an era where there's a trend toward disrespect for authority, and boxing is known for a long time to help straighten young people out and give them a sense of purpose, give them, I think, that the most important ingredient is self-respect and respect for others, and it builds character. And to be an older person and to say these things to younger people, I know from when I was younger, and I can remember looking at other people and thinking, oh yeah, well, what have you done? Like you've, as I said earlier, you've got to be living proof of what you say. You've got to be an example of the things you're talking about. And the older boxing community, part of the boxing community in Australia, they get me and what I'm trying to do, and they're very supportive of that. And so it's that's impetus for me to keep going, Mets, and keep doing this. And I think the older you get, you got to keep living, and you only stop living when you stop moving. And it's not a case of me wanting to be relevant or anything like that. It's a case of me genuinely wanting to make a difference.
Yep. And that's the biggest thing, I think. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, it's about making a difference through the actions you take. Like you said, I don't want to be one of those bullshit talkers that says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I've done nothing, which I think is the best way. You lead by your actions. You go for the second world record, 150 rounds?
150.
Was that 24 hours as well?
That was 10.5 hours.
10.5 hours. What are you going through there? Tell me what happens there.
Well, a few weeks before that, I was starting to unravel,
Because we want to go through all these world records, and the next one you're going to go after.
Yeah, so I was starting to unravel mentally. And so where I live on the south coast, 3 hours south of Sydney, a place called Mollymook, it's referred to as...
That's beautiful.
Oh, mate, it's a lovely spot. And it's referred to as Byron by the Sea, or the Byron of the south coast. And, a lot of great people there that in search of lifestyle. So, you've got yoga retreats, you've got, gyms, you've got your CrossFit gyms, your surf clubs, people are into health and fitness there. Anyway, and as I felt myself unravelling in probably 4 or 5 weeks out of the event, and it was just nerves, it was just anxiety, and because you wouldn't think I'm actually a fairly anxious person, and I've got to keep moving, I've got to do things to sort of try and nip my anxiety. The longer I sit, just doing nothing, the more anxious I become. So it's like I've got to get this release and drain it out of my body. So anyway, I'm doing all this training and still nothing's happening, and I'm unravelling mentally, and I thought, oh, bloody hell, what am I going to do? And I thought, yoga. So I just put out, bit of a thing, if anyone could recommend a great yoga teacher. And they came back with the name Monica Mudge, and she's got a yoga studio in Milton. And I went and saw Monica, and I told her, what I was about to do, and I said I'm an endurance athlete, and I wanted to find this calm. And anyway, I'd go twice a week, and infrequently I still go and see when time permits, and do Monica's class. And I can't tell you the level of calm that came over me in that 4 weeks, to the point where the night before the event, that was sponsored kindly by, promoted by Paul Mazzari, Neutral Corner Fight Promotions, we all met down at Mollymook Golf Club on the beach, and we had dinner down there that evening. Mate, I thought it was Christmas. And in the ring the next day, I was dancing around like a 2-year-old. They had to tell
Wow.
me to slow down. I could have done 200 rounds that day. Anyone that was there would have said, Phil would have kept going 250 rounds.
Wow.
And it was more than just the training. It was
Up
here.
there.
It was here. It was
So that sense of calmness brought you to that next.
1,000,000%.
Okay,
1,000,000%. And I can't thank Monica Mudge's efforts, in working with me more for what it helped me to attain. And some of the things that she said to me and she has taught me stay with me to this day. And I think about, from the morning, that moment I open my eyes in the morning I sit up in bed and I breathe first and then, I think about what I've got on for the day and, I'm grateful, for everything that I have in my life and I get out of bed and it really does make a difference and it helps me focus on what's important and like I was obviously focusing the things that were starting me to unravel mentally were distractions that I shouldn't have been focused on.
Yeah.
And she gave me the tools through, doing yoga to focus on what was important and not allow those distractions to come in. And I see so many young people that, their lives are buffeted from out of the lane that they should be staying in from side to side by distractions, negative distractions, things that, take away your energy,
Yeah, 100%. It's almost like those distractions take into procrastination of not taking actions on the things you're supposed to take action on, because everyone wants to improve in some form or fashion, and they don't realise why they're not improving because they lose the focus of where they got to go. What yoga seems to have done to you, it drove you into the next world record that you were going after.
Yeah, it gave me.
Did you give the clarity? Was it more clarity that you needed? Was it something like you were missing something and you go, mate, I've got to find something to bring me back to where I've got to be?
Yeah, well, after my first world record, a lot of people, and they might have been right, that was a fluke,
Okay, so this was like, have I still got it?
Yeah, and then I did the second one, and then I looked back to the first one, and I thought, gee, the first one was harder, 24 hours non-stop, because the second one was only 10 and a half hours. Sure, punching bag doesn't hit back, and there was a lot of active rounds in the 150 rounds where blokes were trying to take my head off, and I had to remain calm, and because, when you're not calm, the opposite of calm is unrest, mental unrest, and that burns glycogen. And so,
That's right.
I've learnt so many things by doing not so much the actual world records in themselves, but the training leading up. Okay, calmness helps you to retain energy. You like a fighter before a fight. The preparation, the whole lead up, is more important. Than fight day itself, because that determines whether you win or lose on the day, that preparation. So, my preparation for anything is all about developing a state of calm. The calmer you can be, in negotiations at work, in any area of your life, is going to bring out a better result for you and others, other than, not being calm. So, I said to myself, okay, was it a fluke? I started to doubt myself because, as I said to you earlier, thinking back, was that me that did that?
Yeah.
And then the second one, I thought, well, gee, that wasn't as hard as the first, but yeah, sure, I've got guys coming at me trying to rip my head off. And then I accepted a bout to fight Buddy Ullman for the superhero belt that was put up by Gary Sinclair. It's an Australian WBL Masters title, and Buddy Ullman was the current Australian Golden Gloves champion, 11 years my junior. He tried to knock me out with every punch, and I just boxed the guy. But what I took out of that was that I was calm enough to be able to do that instead of just wailing punches everywhere,
Mm.
which was, reflective of when you can bring yourself into that calm sort of state. It's like you transcend into another person, and and this is why the fight game is such a great analogy for this. You have to become an alter ego of, you look at yourself at. You can't just get in there as Phil McDonald. You've got to get in there as Phil, the Undertaker McDonald. You've got to sort of go somewhere else, and that's a survival instinct, for me. And but that is combined with a level of calm as well, to be able to execute what you need to do at the given moment in the ring, because it's kill or be killed. So slowly looking back, I could see myself changing. Where was I changing? Was I getting fitter? Was I getting stronger? No, I was getting stronger here. That's where I was getting stronger. And so, I thought, I don't want to rest on my laurels. I'm only 62 years young, and I want to keep going. And I remember my father always speaking about George Dawdry, the fitness guru and sports trainer. And he was just, for his age, he was just phenomenal, and he'd trained with Sharkey, Shannon Taylor, and, a lot of other great sports people, footballers and whatnot. And he's in his 70s.
Wow.
And like,
still moving.
He was just an icon, He's no longer with us, rest in peace, George. But the way that how reverently all these guys spoke about him, he was like, he was a father figure, he was a mentor, he was like everything rolled into one. But for him, what he did, it wasn't so much a commitment to what he was doing, it was a lifestyle for him. And this has become a lifestyle for me, and it's like a drug, but a healthy drug. And I can't stop it now. And it's like when we walked into the gym this morning, I looked around, I've never been in your gym, it's 4 levels? And I just said, mate, hats off to you, Mets, what you've done here. And I remember saying to you, that this isn't a commitment for you, this is a lifestyle. It's both your left and right arm. And
is my wife still with me?
Does she ever see you of a morning or of an evening?
No, she does.
But it's part of you. And just the same as what I'm doing is part of me. So
I think what we have in common is, like I've got a facility like this, you do world records. We just want to help people. We just want to help people be better. We can't stand people that lose hope. We can't stand people, not stand them, but we probably believe in people more than they believe in themselves.
And you want to develop a community. You want to develop a culture of thinking. I want to help people start to think a certain way.
I always felt like I was the underdog, and that's what keeps driving me. Because if I felt like that, and I could keep going and keep achieving things, that means everyone has the possibility of doing that. Like, when you went for your second world record, right? Fuck, everyone thought it was a fluke. I better do it again. You have to almost have that, right?
I beat myself up a bit, and listening to a snippet of Richie Vass's interview with you about, people, successful people, they're usually their own biggest critics. And, I fall into that category. It can be healthy and unhealthy. It's the extreme of it, how much you criticise yourself. I've been the underdog. I remember, at school, and when you're younger, things that happen to you have such a big impression on your life. And, I always wanted to play first grade football. And I remember, like you'd have these teams and a couple of guys would pick the teams at school for lunchtime game you have up on the top oval. And I remember, being, thinking, I'm not a bad footy, and getting picked last in, being the last of the pick to join into a team and things like that. And, that sort of stuff, if you have the right mindset, that fuels you on.
Yeah, it does. Probably one of the greatest fuel sources that you need. I feel like my back's against. Okay, You perform at your best when your back's against the wall, right?
Yeah.
With the true champions, doesn't matter what sport it is, they come out when the chips are down, they're down on the score line. It's a tough game, and they win the moments.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's when your back's against the wall and you've put as much into the prep as you possibly had to, or the better your prep, I always believe, the better the outcome, right? And so when you're doing that and your back is against the wall and no one's believing in you, that's when you can perform at your best if you know how to utilize it.
Yeah, yeah. And, what I do are solo pursuits. And, I've played a lot of team sport in my life and across a lot of different sports. And the thing is, when you're travelling solo, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
You can't hide within a team. You're on show. And so for me, I present warts and all, stripped down bare, and I'm a no frills sort of person. And it's just that sort of thing makes me think, I'll show you fuckers.
Yep.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
And my dad would always say, there's there's no alternative in life. If you lay down, the world will walk over the top of you. So I make sure I stand up, and that I'm a vision of one of his favourite sayings, which is keep running the ball up. And so I keep doing that. And my next world record is set for April 6th to commemorate with the third anniversary of his passing, and it will be called the Jim McDonald Memorial 2, and it will be at Ian's Smash Fitness at Lexington Place, Maroubra, and it'll be 25 hours non-stop on the focus pads. So I've got a guy holding the pads for
25 hours on the focus pads.
25 hours. Now, why 25 hours and not
why?
24 hours? 25 hours amounts to exactly 500 3-minute rounds.
Fuck.
So, and
500 3-minute rounds.
am I going to do it? Of course I'm going to do it. Am I going to be in pain? Of course I'm going to be in pain. Is there another one after that? Of course there is. Because you can't
You're like
stop.
the David Goggins of boxing. Like the David Goggins of boxing.
It was funny, I was listening to his a 2-hour podcast of his yesterday as I drove up from the South Coast, and in the podcast, one of the most notable themes coming out, amongst other themes, was he said, you've got to learn how to fail. And in that, he meant by what you learn to take important things out of when you fail. Okay, it might be in your nutrition. What do I need to tweak here? Might be in your training. What do I need to tweak there? And once you start to fail a few times, you start to learn, and that's the preparation for greatness, for success. You wouldn't believe the amount of times I've failed, Mets. The amount of times I've collapsed at training by pushing myself, right? And then I've thought, okay, I need to tweak this in my nutrition or in my hydration. I need to mix this with the water. And it's a slow progression that no one sees. They only see the end result. You achieve this. They don't understand the journey to get there. And that makes me who I am. And I'm proud of me. No one can take it away from me because I didn't hide in a team.
No.
I did it on my own. And I can stand here now and say, fuck all of you.
Yeah. And I guess that's the best part about doing something solo. Like, people always go, you should do and I think I've spoken to you about this before, like, you ain't going to business with anyone because you go, you know what, I'm doing it my way. I don't want to have any wars with anyone. If I fail, I fail. It's on me, and that's it. And that's how I like to live my life, and I respect that a lot. And doing what you're doing, these world records, what you don't realize, because you're doing it solo, you're giving the ability for people to have the hope to be able to do anything. So even though you're doing it solo, you're thinking about the people at the end of the day. You're thinking, hey, this wasn't meant to happen. I had to fucking die. I had to fucking collapse. I had to struggle to get to this point. I'm not doing this just for me. Obviously, I'm testing myself because I love testing myself. But I'm doing it for you guys because I want you guys to take something away from this. You can achieve absolutely anything you want in life as long as you can get out of your own way. And I think that's what you've been doing continuously throughout your whole life. From everything that you've been telling me right now, it's probably something that you don't even realize that you're doing, but you're doing it. And like, going to Ian Schaefer's this afternoon to the feed, the people that from, that have done it tough, hit tough times, not making enough money, don't know if they're going to get the next feed. You're doing it for those people. You're doing it for all those people.
It's never give up.
Yeah.
It's never give up, Mets.
Yeah. And your kids too.
Yeah, mate, hugely my kids. It doesn't matter whether you're lending a helping hand, right, whether you're on that side of the fence, okay, never give up. Never give up in thinking that, you're not relevant in terms of being able to make a difference. You can, And Ian has got another area of street of the Schaefer Foundation called Street Success, and what it does, it focuses on helping one person at a time, because that's realistic. You can't, hope to make a difference to huge numbers of people at a time, and so to say, well, we'll just focus on helping one person at a time, getting them back into the workforce, or helping with their rent. There's a host of things you can do, and never give up as a person thinking that you can make a difference. And also the other side of the coin, the people that are struggling, I say to them, never give up in thinking you can get back into, from if they're homeless, that if you want to, you can get back into, having a roof over your head. You can get back to having a job. You can get back to being able to provide. Never give up. And so to the people that say they don't care what other people think, okay, that's true in a regard, right? But for me, I care what other people think, right? When I'm training to achieve a world record that's got a message behind it of never give up, I care that people, if I fail, people are going to say, this bloke's full of shit. He's too old. Of course he can't do it, right? I'm 62 in a few months. I can do it. And all it takes is tweaking, right, in your preparation, as I said earlier, tweaking certain things. The largest part of it is your mindset. You've got to tweak your mindset. It's everything you feed yourself, and I call it your, my environmental diet. It's everything that I read, I listen to, I watch, I eat, the people I hang out with, right? That is co-effective of the direction I'm going in. And that direction I'm going in has to be founded on a base of substance, as I was saying about my family earlier, right? Without that substance, there's distractions because you can't focus properly. And so it doesn't matter whether you want to become, CEO of, the greatest fitness corporation in Australia, or, whatever it is you want to do, right? To achieve it, you've got to have, a focus with no distractions. How do you get there? I've just, sounded off.
Yeah, of course. The right environment, right food, the right family, just the simple basics that matter. Like if you look at any game in the world.
It's not convoluted. It's not rocket science.
The teams that follow the simple game plan always win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you remove distraction, how do you remove distraction? Remove the people in your life that aren't moving you towards your goal.
Well, you look
inevitably, when you're achieving these goals, even if when you fail and you keep getting back up, you feel like that you're worthy of something, and it's consistently doing it over and over again. And I'm sure, like, you probably don't drink. Do you drink?
Oh,
much?
I have a beer now and here,
Now and then. But you look after your health.
Yeah.
Like I'll look at it like this, right? If you eliminate going out and drinking all the time, like I'm talking like a beer and there is not a problem. If you eliminate going out and having drugs and not going with the crowd that are trying to be popular, you're going to probably give yourself a much better chance of succeeding in whatever you want to do, right? And then you're going to be able to go for that. Yours are different level. Going for that world record, 25 rounds on the focus pads. 500 rounds. 500 rounds, which is 25 hours. But you were talking before, you're going to do another one after that. You in the water.
It's always
it's out of
it's always
out of the
been
ring.
Yeah, it's out of the ring this time,
Yeah.
and it's something I've always wanted to do on the water because I've paddled ocean marathons. I've competed all over the world in outrigger ocean paddling, and so it's always been there. Like a dog biting at my ankles, saying, So
you make it sound like it's just a normal thing, like going down to get the groceries from the corner store. No, that's what I'm like. I'm saying it like that because you make it sound like, this is easy, but it's fucking hard.
It's if it was easy, everyone would do it.
No, I know, but the way you make it sound, it's like I feel like doing it, but I go, mate, it's not easy.
At my age now, and for a long time, I've really been intrigued by the power that the mind has to create this ability to be able to do almost anything. And, I read books, listen to podcasts, and it's predominantly I'm drawn to people that have achieved against the odds, right? My latest book I've just finished is Wim Hof's book, and reading how he climbed Everest in 36 hours in a pair of shorts.
Fuck, that's unbelievable.
Part of the death zone.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable. Like his mindset is just just crazy. And I was in the gym yesterday, and we've got the international volleyball on down at Mollymook, and we had a couple of girls come in to train in our gym, and one of them was the coach, a girl called Margot, and I said, "Oh, the accent, where are you from?" She said, "I'm from the Netherlands, And I just said, "Oh yeah, I've just finished reading Wim Hof's book." And she said, "Oh, what do you think of it?" And we started talking. And she said, "Yeah, I know Wim."
Wow.
And just that connection of, and it seems to happen to me all the time. I just run into these people that we have these like-minded connections with sport. But look, I guess I'm in the right place when I'm in the gym. I'm going to meet people that are into sport and come in. I met a guy. He owns Bondi CrossFit. He was down there for a few days, so he came in to train at our place. And so it just to have the opportunity to speak with like-minded people, I'm in awe of them, what they do. And she said to me, "Oh, are you one of the coaches here?" I said, "Yeah, I'm the boxing coach." She said, "Oh, look, we're here for a week and a half. Can we come back and train with you? Back at home, our boxing is a big feature of our training for our cardio and everything." I said, "Yeah, sure. That'd be great. And so I don't think for 1 minute that I have a physical ability greater than anyone else's. I think my biggest ability, Mets, lies in my strength of mind. My strength of mind. Yeah. Because it's what I've worked on for a long time. And now looking back, I can see that has enabled me to do things better than if it wasn't at the level of that it is, and disciplined. Yeah.
It's almost like you've built these calluses. I think as you get older, you build these calluses, and they just become stronger.
Goggins
and stronger.
refers to it as callousing your mind.
Yeah, callousing your mind and challenging yourself to go way beyond what you've ever believed you could do, and to almost go against the other mind that says, "Hey, just quit." And if you quit, that you're not going to be able to live with yourself because you'll live in regret. And I think that's the biggest part I see in you, is that you can't quit or you'll live in that regret. And I was watching these videos the other day, and they're going to all these old guys, and so what would you say to the 20-year-old self? And they go, take the risk. take the risk. Otherwise, you'll live in regret that you never took the action that was necessary, and you'll live in failure if you don't do it. And you'd rather try and fail and learn from that failure and go again to succeed. And if you don't do that, and that is the process, I think that's just how simple it is sometimes. So on April 6th, I'm going to try and come. I'm going to come out to Ian Schaefer's. We'll go there, Kenny. It's just down the road. It's not far from us. It's actually down the road from you. We'll go there. We'll video this because they're both great people, and they're doing great things for the community. And I think, when we talk about like-minded people, I think we're like-minded is we're both in a place where we can help people. And I wanted to get your message out there because I think it's very important. I think you're very relevant. I think people need to hear that. You've done 2 world records. You're going for a 3rd, which is fucking crazy in itself. 25 hours, 500 rounds. And then the ocean. Tell me a bit about the ocean. What's the ocean going to entail? What is this 3, 4, 5 days out there? What is it?
No, this is going to be, I want to set a world record.
Yeah.
Why people say, why do you need to set a world record? Well, it's because
it's part of your DNA.
There's no relevance to what I'm trying to do unless it's out there.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so, I'm a bit of an out there person.
Yeah.
I think people that are good at what they do, people that are successful, are a little bit out there.
Yeah.
So, I don't see it as necessarily a bad thing. You've got to be...
You have to push the ego. Like the ego has to be pushed a bit.
But like at the end of the day, what's normal? The greatest number of people just going to work 9 to 5. Society might think doing that that's the most normal mindset of people. And then there's me doing what I do. Maybe I'm not normal, but I'm normal amongst my own people.
Yes, that's right. That's
so
right.
It's a relative, term, basically. So this is going to be something well in excess of 24 hours. It's going to involve 2 people. It's a lady from the Northern Beaches. She's agreed, just briefly, I won't mention her name at the moment, but she's rowed solo across both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans.
Wow. So
people will start to get a bit of an idea who it might be and just how great this person is. And for this lady to accept to do this with me, I threw it out there, and I thought, because we'd messaged back and forth a few times, and we'd both been interviewed by a guy in Queensland that does podcasts with people that have achieved certain feats as what she has done, what I have done, and that's how we met. So we've never actually met physically with each other, and she's just gone, yes, let's do this. So this will be the first time I've done something on this sort of scale with another person, and this is going to showcase, amongst many other things, teamwork, pushing each other, inspiring each other. And it takes me back to what you were talking about a minute ago about what would you say to your 20-year-old self about, say you don't grow old with the regrets. And looking back between my younger self and my older self now, sure, I regret not having a go back then at certain things that I wanted to do. Fear held me back a lot of the time, and you grow to a point, you realise fear is a wasted emotion, just like embarrassment. Embarrassment's a wasted emotion. So if you fall over, who gives a fuck? You know? So, and because you realise the importance of that as you get older, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But the one ingredient that I've got now that I didn't have back then, which would have helped me, was I wasn't surrounding myself with the right people. The people that sort of gave me this level of self-belief that we all believe in each other and support each other and drive each other.
Yeah.
And that crew, to have that crew is really important. And I think younger people aren't always aware of that ingredient or how to go about it.
Yes.
Because there's too much ego and testosterone being thrown around, especially with young guys, at that age, trying to impress each other, trying to look better than one another, when, my message to my younger self would be, dispense with all that shit. Just be really confident with being you, even if it means falling over.
Yes.
And be able to laugh at yourself. Don't worry. It's because it's not that important to fail. It's hugely important to learn from it and take that into the next step. And success is really about galvanising the layers. It's about, as Goggins says, it's about learning how to fail and then going to that next level.
100%. Mate, I just want to thank you for coming down today. And I think these are the biggest takeaways. April 6th, get down to Lexington Place, Sharkies, Maroubra.
Smash Fitness.
Support this man. He deserves it. I'm going to be down there, Smash Fitness.
We're raising awareness and money.
Raising
for
awareness.
Street Buffet.
Beautiful.
Feed the homeless.
Absolutely love it. One thing you guys have got to know about Phil's about the people. He's doing things that are selfish to him to help more people. That's the reality of it all. He's challenging himself. There's unbelievable takeaways. Surround yourself with the right people. He said, what would his 20-year-old self be telling himself right now, who's about to turn 62? It's, hey, don't be afraid to fail. Take the next necessary steps in order to move forward. And don't be embarrassed if you fail. Get back up and go again. But find a crew, find a community that will support people like us who probably will not do anything normal in their lives because we won't be able to live with each other. And I just want a lot of young people to understand this, Phil, that, you know, you said it, you didn't say it once, you said it about 5 times. It's about remove the distraction. Get around the right people. You said it about 5 times, maybe 6. I say that to myself every day. And when you do that every day, you start to move the needle closer to where you want to be. That gives you the substance to get up every single day. It gives you the purpose. The guys, there's amazing messages in everything that Phil said. What's most amazing about him, he's doing things that no one else will do. He's challenging himself and he's doing it for the people, to raise awareness, to help people with, you know, mental health, homeless. You know, he's got a purpose of why he's doing this. He's not doing this just for himself. He sounds selfish of what he's doing. He ain't doing this for himself, right? He's doing this to show people that if you believe in yourself and you can be comfortable failing and you can be comfortable being embarrassed about, you know, things that have happened in your life that have nothing to do with anyone else but your own emotions, you can succeed. But this is why we do what we do, Phil. This is what we do. April 6th.
April 6th.
April 6th. Lexington Place, what was the
Smash Fitness.
Smash Fitness. Sharky, Ian Schaefer, get down there, support this man. He deserves it. He's going for more world records. And I'm glad to know a world record holder that I respect. And I just want to thank you for coming down for a second time. People can also find you on social media on Instagram, right?
Yeah, under Fit Old Boys, 62
Fit Old
on
Boys.
Instagram, and Phillip James McDonald on Facebook. Your crew is everything.
Your
and,
crew.
you know, find substance, you know, within your family.
Yeah.
That's the foundation to success. It's really that simple. And
Phil, what if you don't have a family? Where are you going to find
your
it?
close mates like Ian Schaefer. Ian Schaefer and I,
These are like brothers, right?
we couldn't be more brothers if we had the same birth mother.
Yeah.
That's how close we are. I'm the better looking one, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I've still got all my hair.
And
you know?
and you don't have the cauliflower ears.
No, that's exactly right. That's all right. You'll get me. When he watches this, you'll get me.
I want to get him on next. He's got a great story.
Yeah.
No, thanks a lot, Phil.
Thank you. I really
You're a
appreciate it,
champion.
brother. Thank you so much.
Champion. Awesome.